rolling in.
Rolling in.
This is Lumophile and
This is Domis. What's up, everybody?
aka Brazilian Void.
AKA Brazilian Void, yeah.
So we have Void on the left, Glan on the right, DKC3 103% for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Looks like Void's going to be running in French, Glan taking the slower English version.
Yeah, French is faster, by the way.
Definitely not a meme, not at all.
Nope.
Glan letting us know that Winky is a frog, and Void's typical 105 Xmas file that he does every Christmas, and usually keeps his last PB, which is apparently Void W. Void W's in the chat if you got him, boys.
Oh, that's a good file name.
Oh, he's running Moyai. Glan said earlier, I don't know if they're actually going to do it, but there's a cheat, but we don't like to use that word. It just auto-saves your game, because there's one thing that I'm assuming they're both going to go for, that can basically make the run not completable for them. So if you enter the cheat A save, it auto-saves.
Hey man, you can't cheat on the speedrun. Hello?
No cheating in my speed run. And we're off. So the first trick right here in the first 10 seconds is Wrinkly skip. You're gonna enter Wrinkly.
I don't think Glenn is gonna go for it.
Yeah, it looks like Glenn did not go for it, but Void did get it. So, oh no, Void didn't. Never mind.
Oh, Void didn't get it.
Yeah, I don't have his audio loud enough. So you want to hear the little jingle to denote that you dismissed all of Wrinkly's text boxes, and then that saves your game. Normally in any percent you don't need to wait for that, you just walk straight back out, but in this game, in this category, you actually need to save, because after you end up acquiring everything that's needed for 103%, which basically boils down to getting all the banana birds, if you go back to Wrinkly's cave without having saved there the first time, you soft lock. So now we're in the first bonus of the game, collect the stars. So it's kind of fun to see the shortest time that you can get in all these bonuses. 15 is pretty good for that first bonus there. There are, I believe, 3 different types of bonuses. First one there is just collect stars, you get a bunch of stars. The number will change, they'll be arranged differently. And this next one is going to be green bananas. So green bananas are placed randomly, one at a time. You have to grab them as they pop up. The positions are dictated based upon the frame that you enter the bonus. There are, depending on your gameplay, there are patterns that you can actually learn to anticipate where the bananas are going to be, and there's also a limited number of spawns at each of the locations. There's the first Ellie skip of the game. You just walk right past her because you don't need her.
Easy Ellie skip.
Easy Ellie skip, that's the free one. There will be 2 more though that are actually intentional tricks and save a lot of time.
Yeah, basically we don't want to play as Ellie. Ellie is really slow.
Yeah, so much slower than the Kongs. Most of the edible buddies are, but she is required in a couple of places. So you'll notice that sometimes they'll pick up these gray coins, which are bear coins. They're not directly required for 103%. However, you do need them in order to get items that are needed for 103%. So there's recently been a money route. I guess it's not even that recent. It's probably over a year old at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty
reroute thanks to V0oid. That will end up saving something like 30 seconds, I think, over the course of the run.
It's around that, I think. I'm pretty sure. Basically, the way the game counts down your coins, it goes gradually down when you buy an item. So you're able to actually buy 2 items with the same number of coins. Like, you pretty much waste the coins twice. So they're gonna try to be robbing a bear soon. I mean, it's later in the run, but...
Yeah, so basically you buy an item, your money starts ticking down. and then you buy another item while you still quote-unquote have money. So this is the last type of bonus, find the coin. Those are the 3 types. These are necessary for 103% in order to actually get 103% on your file. There is another way to acquire the coins though with another cheat, but we don't use cheats in video games. No cheating in my speedruns. The water cheat, you enter it before you start a file, go to the left and there's a waterfall that you can go into, and there's a banana bird cave, and if you do the Simon Says, which you'll be seeing a lot later on, it will give you the 85 bonus coins that you can find throughout the game. So you can just go straight to the secret lost world at the end of the level.
You do use the water code for... Yeah, you do use it for the water percent speedrun though.
Right. Most prestigious category. So here you see we have Simon Says. The cave will give you a pattern with an increasing number of inputs as you do more caves. You just have to copy the pattern. You can see the game is very nice and color coordinates the buttons and the crystals. So it's a lot easier to tell which is which. They also have different notes, different tones. So you can actually do them blindfolded.
Which is something V0oid might try to do. He's gonna run this category at GDQ, the next GDQ, so he might try to go for the blindfold cleanup. We're gonna be explaining that a bit more later.
The first appearance of Eduardo the Swordfish, or On Guard if you actually like to use Nintendo's giving name. He's pretty good. We like Eduardo in this game. He's pretty OP. In the first game, he's pretty good. You can clip through a lot of things. In the second game, he's kind of not very good. And so they realized that they overtuned him, then undertuned him, and then they overtuned him again for this one. He does appear in all 3 games of the trilogy. And you're basically invincible to enemies that you can stab, as long as you're mashing the stab button. Interesting strat here for Glan. Not sure what he's... Oh, he's going to do the water bounces. The intended way, actually, of getting into that bonus.
What a nice guy, playing the intended way.
Yeah, right? Natural route. Bop this green barrel guy at the end of the level because he causes a lot of lag. This game is very good at creating a lot of lag. Just the way that things are loaded, there's way too much on screen all the time, so you end up getting a lot of lag throughout the game. So there's kind of a lot of lag reduction strats here and there.
Yeah, this SNES can't really handle this game well.
Yeah, no. Particularly with Kitty, he lags the game a lot. I believe V0oid did it, but hopefully we'll see it from Glan here in a sec as well. There's a nice just defend through that. I believe they're crimps in this game.
Yeah, crimp.
So same as in most other games by the same name, you try to roll through a guy, but he's got teeth or whatever that you normally chomp you with. So you change direction, you go back left. It's really easy on snow because of ice physics. You turn back left as you're moving to the right, so the game thinks that you're facing the opposite direction, and you can roll through them from behind, so it lets you roll through him that way, thinking that you're behind him instead of front of him.
Yeah, the reason they go for that just defend on that particular spot is that there is a bear coin there, and so it saves a lot of time actually.
Yep. All right, and so here is our first Ellie skip. I believe V0oid's gonna go one trip Murky Mill here. Yep, looks like he's not teaming up. Glan might do 2, I'm not sure. There are developer intended warps in all of the levels in Worlds 1 and 2, but we skip them just because we have to play the whole stage anyway in order to get the DK coins, which we've somehow neglected to mention this entire time, and all the bonuses. So successful Ellie skip on V0oid's side. Looks like Glan's going for it as well. Unfortunately, he went into the barrel, didn't get to sneak under, so you get to see Ellie, and she is afraid of rats, but only if she can see them. So the ones in the dark are fine. However, if they're illuminated by the lights in the ceiling, she gets scared of them, so you gotta either like hit them with the barrels or wait till they're not under the light and stuff like that.
Yeah, the trick to skip Ellie is a 2-frame window, so it's like a very precise trick. It's very hard to get it consistently.
There's been a pretty good setup developed, but it's still a really difficult trick. So, no knocks against them for not getting it this time around. You can see right there on Void stream how much lag this game has. It's crazy. It's all the time. Our boy Louis underscore actually made a timing hack
Shoutouts
that
to Louis.
displays IL timers on the right upper right hand corner and a lag counter in the upper left hand corner, and it's crazy. You'll get multiple seconds of lag in levels sometimes,
and most of it is unavoidable, unfortunately, so not much we can do.
Right.
They are going to be skipping getting a a second Kong in many places to avoid most of that lag.
So first boss here, Belcha, spits out barrels with beetles inside of them. You feed them to him, and then he burps himself into the corner. And that's World 1 done. Unfortunately for Glan, he didn't take the warp first. If he did, I think he would have stood to save 20 seconds or something like that. You lose quite a bit if you miss Ellie skip, because if you take the warp first, it takes you to the end of the level. You go do the bonus at the end. First zip here from Void side. Explain that in a bit. But if you don't get Ellie skip and you didn't take the warp, you end up having to play the stage through, and as we said, Ellie is very slow. So one trip Ellie skip is good. If you miss Ellie skip, doing 2 trips is better. So on Void side, you saw a zip there. What happened is if you team up and throw, but your throw gets interrupted while you're under some sort of terrain, you get zipped up through the top of that terrain. So he was beneath a doorway from one of these trees, and then it just shoots him up to the top of the tree where that ends, and where he comes out the next doorway. Same thing on Glan's side, very nice.
That's not a very old phone. Zipping has been known for a while, but it wasn't really useful.
Yeah, we just didn't really know too much about it or too many places to do it, but there's been a lot of science done recently. Donkey science.
No, this bonus is really bad.
This one is terrible because you have these minkies in the walls throwing, I believe they're seeds, nuts, acorns, whatever, at you, and you're supposed to go back and forth and get these green bananas. If you get hit in a bonus, you don't just take damage, you actually lose the bonus and get shot out of it. So it's at least easy to get back in this one. There are other ones that aren't so kind, but that one at least is easy to get back into. However, it's still a pain in the butt to take damage there because you do lose a lot of time. Because there's also a little fanfare at the end if you get hit, and then there's a fade out, so it's just really slow.
There's an animal buddy called Perry that we're going to be getting later in the game, and he can spawn a bonus in certain levels, and if you fail that bonus, you have to re-enter the level and do it over.
There's
you don't have a second chase. Yeah, 2 of those.
Yeah.
And those cost a lot of time to fail.
So Void is in the Riverside race level where there's actually a timer, so he actually has to beat the level in under 1 minute and 15 seconds in-game time. Doesn't count the time that you're in the bonuses, but you'll see the timer in the upper right, lower right, my bad. So he needs to be 1:15, which is Brash's course record. He's the first of the brother bears that we'll end up talking to. There are, I don't know what, like a dozen or something of them. There's a lot.
There's a lot of bears, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of bears. They all have B names.
I haven't actually noticed that.
Really? Yeah,
that's
they all have B names. Benny, Bjorn, Boomer, Okay Boomer.
Okay Boomer.
We'll get to him later.
Yeah.
This bonus that Glan's in that V0oid has already done, this one is also a huge pain in the butt because that fish, the Coco down in the middle, it's really deceptive how close you are to it sometimes, and whenever you jump, you always sink a lot more than you want to. Nice little damage boost there on V0oid's screen to get up to the DK coin there. And not a sub 1, but very, very close. Nice run. Nouveau record. That's new record in French, by the way. Save moye.
That's a very good time for this level.
Yeah,
Usually 101 or 102 is the regular time.
Yeah, sub 1 is pretty hot, so he was very close.
This is a good example.
This is the first one that we end up taking the warp intentionally.
Oh yeah, it's the first one. Forgot.
Yeah, well, I mean you can in Murky Mill, but the optimal speedrun, this is the first one that you would normally take, just because the end of the level is so much further past where like you get the DK coin and do the 2 bonuses, in comparison to where you actually get into the warp. Like the warp in 2-1 is not really that close to where you enter the level, so it's not as much of a benefit to take it. Yeah, new record on Glan's side, very well done. Nice. He has also beaten Brash's time. Brash is going to be a mad boy.
Yeah, the gimmick in this stage is that you have to kill the rats to open doors. You have to kill a certain number of rats that they are shown by a, like, I don't know how to actually say that, a counter, I guess? Yeah, like a meter, that green meter there. When it fills up green, it actually opens the next door that you need to progress. But we're only gonna need it once.
Yeah, there's meters for a lot of doors, but you actually can just like get around quite a few of them. This level also has a door clip straight to the end of the stage, which is only really used in one category, which would be warpless. So you can't take the warp, so you clip through the door.
Which is still almost a warp, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's playing the stage, unfortunately.
It's semantics, really, honestly.
Yeah, but this stage is a lot of fun, actually, to play through.
It is. I also think it's a good gimmick. This is also a very popular stage in our speedrunning community. It goes by an alternate name of Allerlage Schrei, because that's the name in German. We actually have a little holiday dedicated to it. So you saw Warp V0oid actually start selected out of the level because he had done everything. Didn't need to finish it out, didn't need to go touch the flagpole. And again, we were going to take the warp on this one as well. Spring and Spiders, get a little money down there on the side.
Easy game.
Easy game. So something about the bonus that Glan's in right now, you see the bananas keep spawning right and left, up and down. There's a certain number, I mean, they're split 7 and 8. I think it spawns 8 on the right and 7 on the left. Maybe it's reversed. But if you keep track of how many have spawned on each side, you can anticipate what's left. So that's another good one to keep track of, make the randomness a little bit less random.
Yeah, and now on V0oid screen, the first part of this level is actually a really cool platforming level. It's a very tough one as well. He's gonna have to jump around some bees, jump on these spiders that are bouncing, and try to not get killed while doing it.
Sadly, this is the only appearance of the spiders in this entire game. Yeah, I feel like it's a really cool mechanic that just never gets reused.
It's sad, really.
Yeah. It's a nice little clip right there just because hitboxes are great. There's going to be a lot of those in another stage later on. Just goes straight down the side of the bee. It's really not that big of a deal. You can... Squawks has the ability to shoot... I always forget, they're eggs or nuts or whatever. I think they're eggs, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo officially says what they are, but they look like anything. They always thought they looked like cheese or something as a kid, which really confused me, or like crackers or whatever. Like probably want a cracker.
Right? You can see properly. It's an egg. It's pretty easy to see.
So he spits out eggs. You can deal with enemies that way. So even if you are scared to like clip by the guy or whatever, you can just shoot him. Kind of a tricky angle though, just because of the trajectory that the eggs normally take when you shoot them.
And this game has some weird hitboxes. Sometimes you try to shoot an egg and you hit like a ceiling that you can't even see. You can barely see the ceiling.
Yeah.
So
Another
you have
start
to...
select there, and now Void's gonna go talk to Brash. Get your, what do we want? Baby rages, swift rages, any kind of mad emote you got. Brash is a mad boy.
Mad Bear is mad.
Yeah.
So by being mad, he's gonna smash his table, and that allows us to actually go through this log that just fell and reach a bird cave. I think the second bird cave we're gonna be seeing.
Yep. And so the first one was 4 inputs. This next one will be 5. They don't go up exactly linearly. I think you do like 2 at 6 and 2 at 7 or something like that. But the last one ends up with 9 inputs that you need to memorize if you're a, not a cheater, but
yeah,
in this run, both runners will probably end up writing them down, which is fine.
It's not a tool-assisted speedrun, so you can't use notepad. Basically, it's a small time save to get the warp, go down to the bird cave, and then go back to the level. It saves like what we call a donkey unit, which is 20 frames, if I'm not mistaken.
It's like 3 frames, right? A donkey unit's like 3 frames? Or no, it's 20.3?
0.3 seconds.
Anyway, so Ellie skipped 2.0 in Bobbing Barrel Brawl right there on Void's screen. He did the Glan setup, which is named after our boy Glan. He spent, I don't know, a good night, maybe even the next day as well, coming up with a setup for it to make it more reliable.
Yeah, he did a really good science on this Ellie skip, and it's 1 second slower than what people used to do, but it's much easier and more consistent.
Yeah, the way that we used to do it, you would shoot out of an auto barrel and then land on the slope, team up on the slope, and then team throw up and over the barrel, which was very difficult. There's some sort of frame precision to it. I don't want to say it was frame perfect, but maybe. I don't really know.
I'm not sure. If you notice on Void's stream now, there's a lot of lag.
Yeah, and that bonus in particular lags really badly because Nibla, the fish in the water, is there. You typically have both Kongs there, and then there's all the stars as well. There's just way too many sprites for this SNES to handle. Second boss here, Eric. You hit him on the chin with a few barrels, getting some good quick hits here.
This boss is really tricky to get correctly.
Yeah, he's very responsive to your movement. So if you're not consistent, he's not going to be consistent in his positioning. So you just have to really focus on doing the same thing every time. Now we're going to trade in our Horse board, which is, what does it even stand for? Just like a motorboat? I think that's what that is, right?
Not sure.
Or the hovercraft.
The quitter is to quit. I'm not sure how the second one is called in French.
Oh, that's just to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get a patch from Eric,
okay.
And then that's just what Funky needed to patch up his hovercraft. And
Funky's
now we're on to the hotly debated World 3/World 4. This is where it diverges and you actually sort of make your own adventure. You open 2 worlds at once, and you can go to either one of them. The game intends you to go to Cotton Top Cove first. That's what's quote-unquote World 3 in like the manual and everything. But the runners will typically choose to go to Mechanos first for a few reasons, Kong Order being one of them. So it ends up saving time, and also this world's harder and longer than Cotton Top Cove. So generally, if you're going to reset, you'll reset here instead of Cotton Top, and you'd rather, get the harder world out of the way.
Yeah, Cotton Top is a pretty chill speedrun like word. It's not very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is World 3 for sure.
Right.
Basically, we are now on Cheetos Factory.
It's the Cheesy Puff Factory, right?
Yeah. I don't know what exactly they are, but they are throwing cheese puffs at you.
Void missed the swag shot and did not go for the BJ. No B jump. Probably smart.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know how to go for that from that angle.
Especially in this situation because you need both Kongs to get into the bonus here. So it's
Yeah,
a pretty big
losing
loss.
Kitty here is a pretty big loss.
Yeah.
You pretty much have to kill yourself.
All right, so first bonus here where we use throw your girlfriend strats. You can team up and throw, and if you throw like horizontally, Dixie will like make like a get hurt sound and just sit there. But she still has a hitbox, so she can still pick up the green bananas for you. And then whenever you finish the bonus and grab the coin, she just comes along with you anyway without you having to pick her back up. So
Yeah,
it's
don't try,
like having
don't try this at home.
Say again?
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, no, don't throw your girlfriend at home. That's a bad idea. Don't follow Kitty's example. Actually, I guess it's throw your, what is it?
It's not really your girlfriend.
Yeah, how are they related? Cousin? They're cousins, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a carryover name for Strat and DKC2, which features Diddy and Dixie, who actually are boyfriend and girlfriend. So I guess it's really throw your cousin in this game. Alright, first auto-scroller of the game. There's a little bit of optimization to this, actually. I'm not completely privy to all of it, but you obviously do want to route in all of the free bear coins that you can grab. There are a lot of them. There's like 5 or 7 or something.
I think
and we
there are
do end up
7.
needing 52. 52 is like the minimum, but 53 or 54 is much more safe. 55 if you're not going to do the rob your bear tech. But yeah, I think there's like 5 or something like that. So you want to go
sure there are 7
the auto scroller while getting on your money. There are some optimizations like jumping on the butts of some of the bees and jumping on the rails, jumping into pits. It optimizes your speed, carry a little bit more speed over. So like V0oid just jumped onto that rail there and jumped down off that. You pick up some speed from that. Kind of a tricky ending to this level here, where Glan is. Can be pretty spooky, especially because you did solo Dixie, but he got through.
Yeah, do an intentional deboost there, so you can reach the rope. But then you're a solo Dixie and you have to dodge some cheese balls.
Then you're out of the cheese ball factory.
Yeah, those 2 bear coins are pretty tricky to collect without taking damage. This damage though was intentional. He wants Kitty in front to get this decay coin and to set up another zip he's gonna be going for on the next stage.
And you can get Dixie back really easily, so it's not a concern. Rather than swapping Kongs, just take damage there. It's easier.
We actually want to break the decay barrel because you can kill a bee and get a bear coin with it. So he's gonna be going for that.
The money route.
Money routes. Yeah, technically you can rob the bear with 51 coins, but I think it's a 7-frame window, if I'm not mistaken. But
So
it's
right here,
tough.
Same deal. Another zip. So he teamed through like in that doorway right there. He got interrupted because he jumped on the rat, and so that launched him up to the top of the tree, and then he begins to fall down to the right, and then lands in that bonus. I don't know how much this saves, but it's pretty significant actually.
Yeah, it saves a bunch. Unfortunately, it's not used in any other category, because having to go to the bonus and exit is actually slower in any percent. So it's only for this category, but it's pretty
cool. Heckin' cool though. So more lag. If you kill the rats in this level, it causes, I believe, a couple frames of lag every time. So you try to avoid killing the rats if you can. You'll see him jumping over as many rats as he can. However, there are a couple places where it's optimal to actually kill them just to get through to the next area more quickly.
There's one rat that is actually unavoidable. You have to kill, unfortunately. But it's only 2 frames of lag.
Yep. Another thing that we haven't mentioned yet, I don't think, the Kong letters. So you can collect K, O, N, and G in every level except for Rocket Rush, just because there's no G in there for some reason. I think it's the G. There's one letter that's missing. But you collect all the letters and it gives you a life. They are not required for 103%. they don't actually contribute towards percentage. The only things that do are completing levels. I think it's completing levels and bosses, bonuses, and I'm not sure if I think the DK coins do as well.
No, I don't think the decay coins count as percentage, but you do need it to be able to reach the rest of the bird caves.
Yeah, the DK coins actually end up being a form of currency. So you need them to unlock the last vehicle.
Which is a pretty cool vehicle, if I say so myself. Here you can avoid the invincibility barrel. You can just team up over to reach the decay coin. A bit
Pretty
spooky,
good
but
level there on Void's side.
Now things start to get really spicy, because this is one of the really heavy execution levels. In general in this game, it's a pretty cool level, and we don't grab the midway because it's really out of your way. So one mistake here is very costly.
Yeah, pretty risky and not easy by any means. Again, we want to be solo Dixie here for lag reduction. Just because Kitty causes too much usually. Transform into Squitter here, backtrack a little bit in order to get into bonus.
Yeah, every time you enter in a shooting barrel, the game waits for you for both Kongs to actually enter the barrel. So you want to have one Kong to actually go faster.
Yeah, there's one barrel that you can actually make a quicker cycle on if you don't have both Kongs. But having both Kongs makes you wait like an extra whatever it is, a fraction of a second for Kitty to enter, then it actually makes it impossible to make that cycle. Pretty tough web platforming strat right there that Void just did in order to get that DK coin on the first cycle possible.
Yeah, Squidder is pretty good in this game. You can actually jump on things on enemies.
Like yeah, Squidder's a good boy, actually.
Now here's a scary part with Kitty. So you can actually deboost here and reach the second bonus faster. There is one strategy on this bonus. You can go for a fast cycle, but it's pretty tight. I don't think anyone really goes for it.
Yeah, not usually. 19's pretty good there.
And Glan is not very far behind. He's actually catching up really quickly.
Yeah, they're staying pretty close. On the U version, that roll that Void just did off that lead there, you have to be kind of careful. On the U version, which they are playing on, U is faster for 103%, just because of some differences in the J version, some enemy placements and stuff. There's a glitch where if you roll off that ledge and then try to jump up and grab that horizontal rope, sometimes it grabs it vertically and you end up getting stuck on it and then shot by that bazooka. Ooh, unfortunate. Went for the just defend there, however, took it, and he's 69 bananas. Very nice. Getting some extra money though, so that's always good. So that's gonna make this next bonus a little bit slower.
Yeah, so he's gonna have to go with the
get in. Normally take a deboost there. Gonna grab halfway to, not a bad idea.
So this level, Low G Labyrinth, is actually a really tough level to beat. Everything you do pretty much has half of the speed, including taking damage.
Slow G.
Yeah, it's pretty slow. But we have the parrots to help us. Parrots is a very good animal buddy.
So the difference between the purple and green parrots, they both can fly in this one. However, in DKC2 they act differently. If you say, oh, I recognize Quox, which is the purple parrot, I recognize him from DKC2. He's completely different in this one because he can actually fly upwards. Whereas in DKC2 he acts as a parrot chute, as they call him. You can't flap up, you only fall. Just basically is like a parachute for you. In this one, you can actually fly upwards. His special ability, though, is that he can grab barrels with his talons, as opposed to Squawks, the green one, being able to shoot his eggs. So You don't make
Speaking
too
of
much
squats,
use of it in this level, but he will make another appearance later where the barrel grabbing ability is very useful. So
Yeah,
Squawks
he
makes
failed. Sorry.
Yep.
Go
There's the D boost on Glan's side to get into that bonus, as V0oid would have done. So Squawks makes a real quick reappearance here, just for that bonus, just in order to bash some baddies, and then we're back to Quawks. Gonna grab some more money.
There is some very tight movement you have to do in this stage to avoid those beasts, for example. But these runners are very, very talented. They have a lot of practice.
Nice
It's
little
no
visual
problem.
glitch there, based upon what things are loaded when you load and unload that DK coin, that coin dozer. Sprite for the coin just glitches out a little bit. There are a couple places where things like that happen. Another one, notably, that may or may not happen in either of these runs is in what is it? Burn Your Rope. What's that level even called? Been calling these levels by their nicknames forever. I don't know the actual names anymore.
Wait, which level? Burn Your Rope?
Yeah, Burn Your Rope.
It's Confused Cliffs.
Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to say Crisscross Cliffs, but I knew that was not right. That's another one.
That's
So
another
here,
level.
V0oid's gonna team up. This is the fastest strat to kill Chaos on the U version. Unfortunately, he only got in 3 hits. Ideally, you can get in all 6 hits by infinite team throwing. Oh, I'm surprised he just didn't go for a redo there. So he's got this like saucer, frying pan type thing on his head at first, and you hit him 3 times, that flies in the air. And then you have this like Terminator head that comes out after. You gotta hit that one 3 more times. So he's got these blades that go around. Just jump on them, bop them on the head, and try not to get shot by lasers.
It's actually really, really fast to just team throw over and over until you kill them, get the 3 hits.
Right. So we'll see if Glan can do a little bit better here. They're both pretty practiced on this strat, I believe. We'll see what Glan's luck is like. I say luck, it's not really luck-based at all. There's no randomness to it, but sometimes it just feels that way based upon how you ricochet off of Chaos's head.
Yeah, it's purely execution, but it's a very tough trick to get all hits in. Especially this part.
Unfortunately, he got hit out of his team throw. He's a little bit too low, I think. So he gets 4 hits, which is pretty good. V0oid only ended up getting 3, I believe. So he'll save a little bit. Oh, he's gonna go for another. Okay.
Yeah, French version is actually faster.
Definitely not a meme.
Nope, not at all. So V0oid now is in the first water level, or water stage. Mostly in DKC games, you try to avoid hitting the corners and going around them as optimally as possible, but it's not always easy.
Your movement underwater is kind of weird. You have a bit of a acceleration time. I mean, you have that in any movement in this game, actually. You can talk more on that later, but specifically underwater, your acceleration time is a little bit longer than it is on land. So bonking corners obviously reduces your speed to 0 potentially if the bonk is bad enough. So you really just want to try to cut those corners as close as you can. Maintain as much speed. Sometimes that means like swimming up a little bit to gain some downwards momentum before you go down and around a corner.
Yeah, fortunately in this speedrun, we actually get our friend Fish here, the Eduardo. So we're gonna be seeing him now. Usually we don't get rabbits. Yeah.
It's a pretty satisfying bonus here. You just kind of bop all these dudes in the wall. Pretty simple. Pretty hard to fail just because, like I was saying earlier, like you can see, I mean, V0oid's basically like hitting some of these Cocos like with his tail there. Like he's a swordfish, but as long as you're lunging, like you're invulnerable. It's crazy. pretty OP in this one.
He is really good.
He has a charge ability. Neglected to mention that earlier. All the animal buddies have like a special ability or whatever to them. If you press and hold, he'll sort of like balk like a little bit, like he's charging up, and then if you release, he'll end up lunging much faster than he normally swims, until you either turn direction or run into a wall or get hurt.
Yeah, and that decay coin Void just got is a very easy one to forget.
Oh
You
yeah,
see the flag right ahead of you.
Yeah, they couldn't stick DK coins underwater because they're all inside the coin dozer's shields, or the coins shields. So all the underwater levels end up having them, at the end. So there's this one, and then there's another one that is coming up here soon. That's very easy to forget.
Yeah, if you go into the 80% mindset, you just forget them and grab the flag, which loses a lot of time.
So right there, you saw Void roll through the back of that crimp there. That is what the game thinks is happening when you do a just defend. Just because you are faced in the same direction as the crimp, it thinks that you're actually behind him.
Mm-hmm. And one thing about this game that is very infamous is that the ledges in this game, they do not work properly.
No.
You can easily have a row eaten by a ledge and fall all the way down the waterfall level.
Yep.
It's very tricky.
If you try to jump when you're on a ledge, you just end up falling. You have to roll very clearly off of the ledge and then jump.
Yeah, there's a specific pixel that kills your roll completely, and you can't even jump out of it.
So, this is Perry, the parallel bird. Parallel parrot? I don't even know. Perry the parallel bird, I believe, is his official name. He's not required in this one, but he makes this bonus significantly faster because he can also grab the stars for you.
Yeah, you're not supposed to have parry in this bonus, but with some team throws that actually skip a bunch of the stage, we can actually bring him over.
I think he ends up giving you like lives or something in this one, right?
I actually don't know because we never see the sign to actually remove him.
A couple lives, I think.
Probably a green or blue balloon.
Yeah. Usually his rewards are pretty good. Because he's actually really difficult to keep alive.
Yeah, anything that hits him actually gets rid of him.
So here's another level that likes to lag a lot. So Void's going to take intentional damage right there. Dixie is also very fast comparatively on horizontal ropes. So whenever you're on them, typically you want to be Dixie, just because she does ropes so quickly. I mean, obviously her hover ability is also very useful for certain instances, getting around these clasps, the explosive barrel guys hanging from the tightrope. That's a very unusual place for Void to take damage there. I can't say that I've ever seen that before, so we're gonna chalk that up to marathon luck.
Hey man, that happens a lot to me. Sometimes you just have the down button pressed, and then you end up jumping into the water, into the Nibla. So that's very unfortunate, giving Glan some time to catch up.
Yep. 10's a good time though getting out of there, so again, green bananas are random, but if you're really cosmic brain, you can kind of learn some things to help yourself out there. Yeah,
there are set spawns for the green bananas, but the spawn that they're gonna appear in is actually random.
So this bonus is really satisfying. You roll into the first guy and then you jump over and saves 1 billion.
Yeah, if you miss that first roll, you actually have to wait for them to go around. And here's a very free trick coming up.
Yeah. He didn't go for it earlier today. I don't know if he just like botched the setup or decided against it. Oh, he's gonna opt out of it this time as well. So you can, there's 3 recoils, the springy guys that sort of look like Tiggers. They're like yellow or whatever, bouncing on their tails. There's 3 of them in a row. Glan might go for it. We'll see if Glan goes for it. You can roll through the 3 of them very quickly, and then you swim through the water ahead of Nibula, the fish down below you, and it actually ends up saving a fair chunk of time.
So now on Tracker Barrel track, I believe. Another level with the waterfall and the very bad ledges.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be trying to avoid those as much as possible.
And another level with Ellie.
Except this time you actually have to take Ellie, because she's gonna turn into a barrel, so we can actually get the decay coin.
So Glan ended up going for the recoil roll there, and he actually did get it. Good for him. Good for you, Glan.
Good for you, Glan. I'm proud of you.
So a note on rolling that I meant to mention when we were talking about acceleration. Rolling works very differently in this game compared to the first 2 games. The first 2 games, you have a run speed and you have a roll speed. Anytime you're running, you're moving some number of pixels per second or per frame, whatever you want to measure by. And then anytime you're rolling, oof, that's another very unfortunate death. You can use R canceling to keep your height a little bit lower there. It looks like he didn't quite keep low enough. But that's not too bad. Just keeps the race close.
Thankfully, I had midway.
Yeah. But so rolling, in DKC 1 and 2, you have a roll speed and a run speed. And when you're running, you move at a certain speed. When you're rolling, you move at a certain speed. However, rolling in this game just increases your max speed, but you still have to go through that acceleration period. So it's very strange when rolling is actually worth it and when it isn't, and how much you actually get out of it. It's almost uncomfortable coming from the other 2 games and then going to this one.
Yeah,
so
another thing
more
that's
water,
very...
and then spit it out. That's one of her abilities. The other is to be able to pull barrels towards her. We don't typically make use of that in the speedrun. And she doesn't have a water gauge in every level either. Only levels where you can actually drink water. Like you can drink them out of the waterfall in this level.
So this barrel right now is a very, very tricky one, because you can easily despawn this barrel and then you don't have it back. You have to re-enter the stage, grab Ellie again, go all the way. So it's a very costly,
very significant time loss if you lose that barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned R canceling before. What I mean by that is you can tap the R button as you're being shot out of a vertical barrel as Ellie, and the game thinks that you're trying to shoot water. Whether you have any or not, the game will try to shoot water, and it will limit your height where you are. It sort of caps you from going up any higher, so lets you get under some bees in some certain places. So now we're in Fish Food Frenzy, aka Feed Your Fish, where you have to escort Nibula behind you. He'll eat the cocos to become sated or fed or whatever, and he'll eat the lurchins, and that will make him like cough, and he'll be unhappy. Let out a little belch whenever he eats the cocos, so you know that he's sated. So he goes from blue to purple to pink and to red, and if he gets red, he will bite whichever Kong you're using, and you take damage. So there's 4 states, and sometimes if you're really, really lucky and you line yourself up correctly, he can go red. But if there's a Coco in the way, he might, if he's deciding to be nice this day, he might grab the Coco before you, and then you get a little bit of a pass. And he will change color over time as well, so it's not just that you need to avoid the lurchins. You actually are on a timer, essentially.
This level is one of the worst levels in the trilogy. Sometimes the fish can just go on a ride and disappear from your screen, and then a few seconds later he will come out, looking for blood.
Yeah, the way that he aggroes onto certain enemies, because he always tries to stay behind you, but if you get him close enough to an enemy that he can eat, he'll sort of gravitate to it for a little while based upon how close he gets to it. So you can see from time to time he'll disappear off screen for a while because he's been attracted to some other enemy that he intended to eat. And sometimes he just really goes, and you just don't know when he's going to show up again whenever he decides that, you know, he wants to, and he'll usually end up coming back either pink or red, so that's always lovely to deal with. One nice thing about it, though, is if you take damage, he will go up a shade of color, so that gives you a little bit of a breather. And this is the other DK coin that we mentioned that is very, very easy to forget.
Yeah, this
Another
boss
required appearance for Ellie here. This time a boss fight. You have to fight Squirt, which is, I guess, like I think according to Nintendo, it's like a snail or something in the waterfall.
Yeah, if anyone knows
basically
what
just-
this boss is, please tell
Say
me.
again?
If anyone knows what this boss is, please let me know.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it's in the game manual.
Yeah, it's Demon Wall from Final Fantasy.
Yeah. But basically you just end up spitting water at his eye stalks, and then he gets mad at you, and then he spits water back at you, but he's not very good at it. So we got one ski from Chaos as the frying pan exploded, and then Squirt spits out the other one. So now we got two skis, so I think we're gonna go skiing, boys.
Time for a new ride.
Back to our dude Funky, gonna hook us up. Unbelievable type of a situation.
Not just yet, unfortunately.
I think that's one of my favorite things that he says. So now we get the turbo ski, which is as it sounds. So we talked about the money route a little bit earlier. Coming out of this world, World 5, K3, which is the basically ice world, the snow world. Coming out of this world, we want to have, you know, our desired number of bear coins, whether it be 51 if you're a human TAS, or 52 if you're a little bit less safe, 53 if you want to go really safe, in order to buy the required items in order to get 103%. There are a couple places where they can pick up extra if they're running short, but I think the runners are mostly on pace with bear coins here, just due to having to repeat a couple of places.
Yeah, I don't think they missed any like vital one so far.
Another level that Dixie is highly favored in.
Usually I do this part with Kitty because he's needed for a couple of things.
Yeah,
especially grabbing this DK coin. It's much easier with him, as you can see.
Yeah, just the way that Kitty holds the keg, he holds it out in front of him instead of up above him, so it makes it significantly easier to hit that coin from beneath, because he always tries to face towards your hitbox, wherever your hitbox is. So unfortunately that aligns your hitbox with the keg if you're Dixie, but if you're Kitty, you hold the keg out to the side a little bit. You'll see on Glan screen, he just jumps up, boom, hits the guy right in the butt, easy.
Yeah, it's much easier.
Yeah.
Also, you need Kitty to twin throw in the bonus. That's what I just did. So
Yeah.
we actually try to keep him as much as possible.
Right.
Now the rest of the stage is gonna do with Dixie because she's much faster at climbing ropes overall.
And anytime you see V0oid or Glan enter one of those auto barrels with two Kongs, you'll see, just what I was talking about, how much longer they have to wait for Kitty to enter the barrel as well before they get shot out. It's really, really noticeable once you know about it. Nice little skip there. You just like roll off the ledge as Dixie, and anytime you roll off of a ledge, you can then jump. So you get like a mid-air jump into the bonus there. Good execution of the bonus as well. So the next auto-scroller, going for a toboggan ride. There are some optimizations to this, jumping at certain places on slopes and whatnot. There's also a lot of money for the runners to get here. I think this is another level with like 5 or 6 coins. So
Yeah,
the
I
auto
think so.
scrollers are where all the money is. All the toboggans actually, really. I don't think there's very much in Ripsaw Rage. Actually, I think there's really just like 3 maybe.
I know you skip one by zipping, so you can grab
Right.
that if you fail the zip. But
Yeah,
there are
that's like
only
your
3.
consolation prize if you miss the zip, is you get 1 more bear coin.
Yep. I know Glan was pretty much one ahead because he had to take Ellie to the end of the 1-5 stage.
Right, yeah, you get another one that way as well, yeah.
Another small consolation prize.
The runners are actually pretty close here. Void. Oh, we got the balloon jump band trick.
Wow.
Can you believe
Invalid
it?
run.
Speedrun invalidated. So Glan about to enter the bonus that Void recently exited here in a sec. Nice skidda pits, bounce 1 and then 2 and then 3 of them.
Yeah, one thing about auto scrollers is that if you fail the bonus, it's very punishing because you have to re-enter the stage. You can't like go back on the auto scroller.
Yeah, that's probably the worst part about it. So there's a really swaggy trick here called hair drop, but nobody does it anymore because it's a frame perfect trick. Instead, everyone just throws the barrel against that wall right there. And this is another typical level that has great ledges that we just love to roll and jump off of because it's really, really well programmed, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it. They're just sketchy. This bonus,
wait a little bit.
This bonus can be really nerve-wracking just because of the low bananas. There's also a lot of lag in this bonus because of the barrels, the bananas, and having both Kongs, and also the water does not help at all either.
This level is also known as Swap Your Kong Simulator because you need Kitty to team throw and you need Dixie to hover. So we're actually going to be swapping Kongs, I think 3 times. Or 4 maybe, which is not... Usually we don't swap that much because it's slow.
Yeah, you lose whatever it is, like a second every time you swap Kongs, something like that.
Yeah,
so
something like that. And your speed goes to 0, so...
Yep. Typically you don't want to if you don't have to. Glan playing with fire, like right... Oh my god. Right on the friggin' death plane down there. Crazy.
Yeah, Glan's going gamer mode. Alright, so you have to swap again because Kitty is better at jumping on these barrels and you can actually team throw. I don't know if Void's gonna team throw. Yeah, it goes for the ledge jump there, which is very scary considering ledges in this game.
Earlier today when he went for it, actually, he ended up falling down. So, hardest trick in the game right here, we like to call it BDB skip. Some people say it's the hardest trick in the game. It's easy once you've done it once, but getting it once is hard.
Yeah, if you miss it first try, it's very hard to go back to it.
Yeah.
Skip's pretty much half.
48 coins. So how many? He's gonna get a 3 more here, I think. I forget how many more are at the end of this level, but this is inarguably the best level in the game because there's this mechanic where there's this target that follows you called the crack shot, and you get to play as Squitter, and it's a lot of fun. If you don't like this level, you are objectively wrong. And it also has the best bonus in the game, which you'll see after this.
Yeah, the actual first-person shooter bonus?
Yeah. I guess it's third person, isn't it? Something like that?
That's debatable, I guess.
Side-scroller shooter.
But there are, I think... Ooh, fighting damage there. There are 7 frames that you can stand on in between those strawberry milkshake pools. And
oh yeah, that's the alternate name for this stage is Purple Strawberry Milkshake Factory.
So the runners are going to be trying to stand in between those pools without taking damage, which is a little bit tricky, requires a lot of practice. And on making instant webs to be able to traverse through this stage.
Yeah, if you have a lot of practice, you can jump on the little cracks in between without hesitating. But it takes a while to get there. So Dume mentioned instant platforms. They work differently in this game as opposed to in DKC2. DKC2, you can just hit L and R in the same frame, and it will shoot out a web platform and turn it into a platform all at once. In this game, you have to do it one frame apart in order to create the web and then turn it into a platform. It's just one frame apart, so it's not really a big deal, but it's just something you have to adjust to coming from the other game. And then you can see Glan shooting them as he's jumping up, so you can basically climb them like a ladder without having to shoot one up, make it, and then jump on it.
Yeah, this level is one of the ones, if you miss the decay coin, you actually have to redo it because you only get one try.
Yep, very very nerve-wracking DK coin to go for if you're trying to like be fast, whatever. If you're on a run, it's like Dume said, you have to do the whole level over again because you actually get the barrel from despawning Squitter with the sign there. So now Lemguin Lunge. The Lemguins are very, very strange enemies in terms of their hitboxes. If you stand on the hole that they pop out of, they will automatically just be dispatched and you don't bounce or anything. If you try to roll into them, you take damage unless you like roll on them from above, or if they're like arcing out of their hole towards you. It's very strange when they hit you and when they won't. The hitboxes can be very, very deceiving as well. They just don't seem to exactly line up with the sprite perfectly.
Yeah, there's a game in the DKC community. I think Gil or Empty mentioned it yesterday. We call pretty much Kong our guy. We take like W screenshots if the Kong or the enemy will win the battle. Usually it's the enemy, but this is a stage that you actually can take a lot of pictures, and it's a pretty good stage to play the game.
So that last climb there on Void screen, you saw he had a double back there for a second. That can be a pretty nerve-wracking climb because you do it as solo Dixie, and if you take damage, you go way back.
Yep. Yeah, now we're gonna do the Bleak skip. It's a very tight trick.
One might say probably most annoying boss trick in this game.
Probably.
Gotta go talk to our buddy Blizzard first, because Blizzard has a present for Blue because it's Blue's birthday. So we gotta go deliver it to him because for whatever reason Blizzard's stuck up here, I guess. So now we're at Bleak's house, which is the name in DKC or GBA. Or no, it's
Bleak's Magic.
It's Bleak Magic, yeah.
No, I think that's on land 3.
Yeah. Bleak House. So you had. It took me, I don't know, until I was 20-something years old to realize that on the left side of your screen, there's a little blue dot to indicate whether you're aiming near or far. Because there are two trenches that Bleak will appear in, either near or far, and where he appears and a range from right to left is random. He actually can spawn in some places where you can't hit him just because of the columns being right-handed. If he appears too far on the left, you actually just can't hit him because you need to hit that flashing button on his tie. And in the back, the button, I don't know if it actually like has a smaller hitbox, but it seems so much harder to hit in the back as well.
I think it's the angle that the snowball goes. It's a very weird angle.
Definitely. So successful Bleak skip on Void stream.
Clean fight.
Bleak skip is a frame perfect start press that we use in the any % run. Unfortunately, can't do it in this one, just because we end up not getting the coin that we need for 103%. So rob your bear over here on Void's screen. He gets away with 3 coins left, so that was a very good robbery.
Hey, was that a 50?
Void robbed in chat if you got it. Yeah, he had 50. He went in with 53 and he left with 3. So the mad lad did it.
Good. That's human
so
plus level.
as Dume mentioned earlier on, when you buy the mirror, which costs 50 coins, your money will start ticking down, and if you mash through the menu quick enough, you can actually get to the option to buy the shell, which only costs 5 coins, while you still have money according to the game's, brain. You can see it over on Glan's screen again. He's got 54, so he's pretty safe. See, he's going to buy the mirror. As the money's ticking down, he buys the shell, and he gets away with 2. You're going to see Void opening up the Lost World of Krematoa. So you just need to drive around the rocks there, and then it erupts out of the ocean. And I believe Blunder is the brother bear that tells you about it. Trade the mirror for the wrench with our dude Barter, I think, and then Bizarre is the one that we bought from. So this, wow, the runners are basically synced, except I think Glan didn't open up Krematoa here, so he's a little bit of time check on Void.
Behind.
But they're pretty close. So here's where we're going to make a lot of use out of the Quawks / Buzz hitboxes, try to get them around a lot, or try to sneak by them a lot. Glan successfully got in the bonus with both Kongs, call them just because your Kongs are transformed. You can see in the bottom left, he still has a parrot down there indicating that he still has a second Kong in reserve. So if he got hit, he'd still be able to go on. However, if Void took damage now, since he didn't get in the bonus without taking a hit on that Buzz, he would end up dying. Again, though, if they took damage in the bonus, they'd have to re-enter the bonus, which is a huge pain. So there is a D boost coming up right here. Glan's going to take it right there, so he could skip waiting for those copters, but you see Void gets caught in them. He has to wait for them to go down a little bit more slowly just because he didn't have that extra Kong.
The escort of shame.
Yeah. So there are bear coins throughout the whole rest of the game. However, we don't need them anymore, so we're just not going to bother collecting them. Actually, kind of scary there on Glan's screen. You can actually clip out of bounds, very similar to the team-up zips. If you re-grab the keg as it's being knocked away by the coin there. Speaking from personal experience, lost the run there. It's not fun. But luckily he didn't re-grab, which is also, I mean, you might think, oh, like, why would he re-grab the barrel? Because you use the same button, press Y to go fast and press Y to grab the barrels. So if he thought he had gotten the coin and then repressed Y to start flying fast again, he could re-grab on accident. It's not something that it's completely unintuitive. Interesting, and also very difficult team up strat on Void stream there. You team up and jump on the copter to save having to go up another time. Glan is going to take the safe route and not employ that strat.
Yeah, that strat is very hard to do.
Yeah. Just because of the way that you move when you're teamed up, it's a lot harder to get on the copter without hitting his blades. Bear in. So whenever you enter Benny's chairlifts, it's customary to say bear in and give your burn your rope update through this auto scroller here. Confused cliffs, and if we're lucky, we'll get one in chat from our boys. I know Void's been typing a little bit. I don't think Glan has. I think Glan's mostly focused on the race. Not really a whole lot of optimizations here, just because the screen only scrolls so fast because it keeps the flame at the bottom of the screen. So basically, you're just avoiding enemies. I don't think there's a whole lot of lag to avoid or reduce here. But you do, of course, have to get into the bonuses. And other than that, it's really just a boring auto-scroller. Back before the money reroute, you at least had bear coins to look out for and gather, but now you're just here.
Yeah, this level is the second longest level in the trilogy, I think. And as every auto-scroller, if you fail a bonus, you have to redo the level, which is very, very costly as well.
Oh, yeah.
Not much to say. Usually runners will do a burn your rope update here to tell the viewers how the run is going, because there's literally nothing to do in this level.
Yeah,
just have to go up.
Pass time. Interesting note, the task here actually, I think it does like a bunch of team up throws or something. I forget how.
We actually do rope jumps, frame perfect rope jumps.
Yeah, that's what it is. Rope jumps up off the top of the screen. Obviously not really viable for humans. So you end up finishing the level much, much earlier. The bonuses are pretty simple too. They basically just boil down to go left and right on the rope as it goes up. I mean, you do the same thing in both of them. The one just has barrels that shoot you around the guys. The other one has copters flying down towards you.
The second bonus in this level is actually pretty free. The first one is a little bit tricky, especially if you're with Kitty in front, because of his larger hitbox. You can actually get trolled a little bit.
The first one I've definitely lost before. I will totally admit that. Just because, like you said, the hitboxes, like the barrels, the auto barrels shoot you out, and then sometimes I don't realize I'm holding up or whatever, and I'll grab back on the rope, and then keep holding up and run into one of the bees.
Yeah, one of these days actually, I entered the first barrel, and then the fire hit me, and I had like literally no reaction whatsoever because I couldn't do anything, and I just failed the bonus for no reason. I'm not sure what causes that, but it's a very weird interaction.
Burn your rope update. Where were the bear-ins? Yeah, we got them, boy. Don't you worry. Another Simon says here, you need to use the wrench. Give it to Bjorn. Bjorn takes you over to the bird cave, or basically a bird cave apart and opening Krematoa. That's the only time difference here. An hour and 11 minutes in, so that's pretty remarkable for a run of this length. But there's not been anything, catastrophic to separate the runners.
This bird cave is actually the main reason the new money route saves time, because you only have to ride the chairlift once instead of having to come back to this world. And the chairlift is very, very slow, as you can see.
Yeah, otherwise you have to go back to Benny's and ride the chairlift again, and then ride it back out again.
Yeah, that probably saves 15 seconds on itself or something.
It's pretty significant for sure. So floodlit fish, because there are gimmicks where they turn off the lights in other levels, they decided to do it underwater in this one. It's really not that hard, just because you're on guard, and as long as you're stabbing, you're basically invincible. You can get hurt by the lurchins if they're closed, but it's a pretty small frame window actually for where they hurt you instead of you hurting them. And there are a couple instances towards the end of the level where you'll be going down a channel. You gotta stab through them. But basically it boils down to a setup where you just release down, let go of down for a couple of frames in order to slow your momentum so that they open up again by the time you get to them. Pretty simple.
You have to do a very specific movement to not get hit in this stage. It's kind of tricky because timing the lurchings to actually stab them correctly is very slow. So pretty much, if you get hit, you can easily wing it.
And again, it's purely execution. There's no RNG to their placements or their opening and closing or anything like that. So as long as you just do the same thing every time, it works the same every time.
Oh, if I didn't go for the new strat here, where you throw the barrel on the wall and ride it to the coin.
Oh yeah, the
strat.
swag ride.
Yeah.
Nice parrot skip on V0oid stream right there. So you do a roll off of the ledge with Dixie there and jump up. So this ends up saving something super minimal, like a second or whatever. Normally you end up riding the parrot there, squawks through that first section. So if you've played DKC2, and if you've played The Lost World, you know Animal Antics, which is where you use all the different animal buddies. This is basically the spiritual successor to that, because it's got Squawks, it's got On Guard, it's got Ellie, and then there's Squitter later. So it's the same sort of deal, you just go through the animal buddies using them in sections.
Yeah, grabbing the animal buddies is actually lower in general, but except for On Guard, because it's pretty good. But we need them to reach certain things like bonuses and the decay coin.
Oh, right. Like normally in the any percent run, you skip Ellie. Again, skip your Ellie because she's slow, but you actually need her to get into the bonus in this instance, so you do need her for 103%. Same thing here with Squitter. You actually can't get into this bonus without him.
Yeah, losing Squitter here is terrifying as well.
Yeah. Oh, and if you enter this bonus without him, as V0oid did, like V0oid hopped off of him, V0oid dismounted him to get into the bonus quicker. But that means that if he were to lose this bonus, he would leave it without Squitter and wouldn't be able to get back in, so he has to do it over. So another level where another bonus where you throw your cousin to put her over one of the banana spawn points, just to try to finish it a little bit more quickly. But if you don't throw her from the right place or whatever, then if she takes damage, you also lose the bonus. It's not just if your main Kong takes damage. We're having a little bit of trouble with this throw here. Just doing a little throw up, that's a lot easier. So there's a much more guaranteed setup where you just stand on the guy and then throw it against the wall, but it's a little bit slower, so obviously you gotta go fast, So jump off the ledge and then throw it in the air. Save some time.
I wonder if V0oid is gonna go for the new strat here. There's a specific movement after this bonus.
He went for it on stream, so I think he's gonna do it.
I hope so.
Yeah, it'd be good to show, if nothing else. The Claude strat, it's called.
Yeah, he's going for it.
Pog.
So pretty much, usually you would grab that TNT barrel B, so you have a clear passage. But with a very specific movement, since Kitty is very slow and big on ropes, you have to do a very precise movement to dodge those bees, which is pretty cool. And we did boost right after to reach a certain point of the level. And also, here's the first, the first time you actually need Barry, because he's gonna turn into the second bonus of the stage. And it's a very scary bonus.
Yeah, not only is this one it's really not easy, it's so dang annoying because I feel like it always spawns the bananas on the opposite side of wherever you are, so then you have to cross across the bees again. V0oid's actually getting pretty decent luck with them staying on the same side. And after you've played this enough, you'll realize that if you get 2 or 3 spawns on the same side in a row, you realize that it's probably going to change afterwards. So you end up anticipating it sometimes. And again, if you're counting right and left, you can always know where the last one or the last couple are going to be. But like Dume mentioned, if you hit one of the bees there, you end up taking damage, you lose that bonus, and you have to do the whole level again. You have to go get parry again. And I think if you grab halfway, will end up saving you a lot of time there. I don't know if either of the runners actually grabbed half though.
Now Void's on Barbos, which is one pretty easy boss, I guess, but it can screw you sometimes.
So the second phase right here that he's doing, he got one of the quick hits. Normally, we'll do two there. He ended up taking damage, which is okay. Just have to reroute his Kongs a little bit. We'll see if Glan can get it. You line yourself up very specifically to be below the top of Barbos' shell, but above the Lurchins that sit at his midpoint. You just sort of like clip in between them, and rather than having to wait for the little missiles that he shoots out, rather than having to wait for them to like fire at you, since they home in on you anyway, just sort of guide them in like that, and then come back out and get a second one. Very nice. So you see, because Void took damage, he has Kitty in front here. Looks like he's opting to... Oh, he's going to deboost, right, naturally. Because normally you just... you take Dixie in front there for the Dixie ropes.
This level is a kind of a silent killer. It's a pretty fun level, but you go really fast on the ropes. They throw you forward, I guess. And there are a lot of bees that you can hit and instantly end your time here.
Yeah.
It's a very tricky stage.
There are some places where the Nakas, the green barrels, will end up hitting you in very inopportune spots. It doesn't quite work out. So, lots of fun platforming though between the conveyors for sure. So this RNG green banana bonus is actually kind of fun because usually what you end up doing is just kind of going in a counterclockwise loop between the top conveyor and the bottom conveyor because they're going in opposite directions. So you just kind of jump up and down between the two. It's kind of fun actually.
Yeah, Void tried to do a little bit of a reading there, try to predict some of the spawns. Because if you end up riding the rope and then it spawns right behind you, you have to go the whole loop again.
Yeah, you actually, the conveyors move too fast that you actually can't fight them just by moving your Kong.
You can, but it's really slow.
Yeah. It's not reasonable to, we'll say.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Glan employing the strat that I typically use, just go in a circle and you'll get all the bananas eventually.
This is one of my favorite levels in the game, platform-wise, because it's not a very good level in speedrun. Those ghost barrels actually, they have certain spawn positions, I guess. They're going to spawn facing 4 different sides most of the time, or 3 different sides, and it's actually RNG. You can't control. Some of them have fixed spawn points. Some of them are actually usually they have like you get the correct spawn point faster, but most of them are tricky.
Yeah, like the one that Void shot into just before this bonus, I think it's something like 6 out of 7 or 6 out of 8, which is I guess 3 out of 4. Some very high percentage that it's facing up when you get to it, but there is a chance that it can be aiming the diagonal directions diagonally up and left or right, which then shoots you into a B, which then you'll obviously take damage. And you need both Kongs to get into that bonus, so it's not as big of a deal in any percent. But here in 103, it requires you to go pretty far to the right to go get a Kong barrel and then backtrack. So it's a pretty significant loss if you take damage there.
Mm-hmm.
So this bonus that Void's in now, it's kind of tricky because of the ledges, but he gets through no problem. The game intends you to do it on Squitter and just make platforms in between. But obviously it's faster just to use Dixie if you can.
Yeah, this is something we never mentioned. Dixie, unfortunately, has a really bad mechanic in this game, where if you land on a platform at the peak of your jump, you actually have a sliding landing animation that prevents you from doing anything. So sometimes that can be really annoying, especially in that bonus, because sometimes it prevents you from rolling again and you just fall off to your death.
Yeah, that bonus particularly is notorious for that. So make a nice little figure 8 on the rocks here to unlock Sewer Stockpile. Glan getting through the bonus very smoothly, very nice. So I think here in Sewer Stockpile is typically the first level, the first Bananberg Cave that people will use like a notepad for to write down like which directions to press. Earlier than that, you can pretty much remember the number of inputs, but here it gets up to like 7 or so. A little bit of freeze there on Void Stream, but so this is similar to Crackshot Croc. I think VoidSys opened Netflix, that's why we're having trouble with the stream there. So there's a reticle that you can't see, it's invisible to the player, following you at all times, just like in Crackshot Croc. And that is where the lightning will show up. It tries to predict your movement based upon your speed and your position. And doing so...
Ooh, by taking damage there.
Yeah, he didn't... he wanted to take damage there, but he didn't get high enough to hit the booty bird as he intended. You can deboost there to jump on the booty bird. The game intends you to hit the booty bird with lightning there in order to get the wooden barrel, in order to the other booty bird with a keg, in order to hit the coin. Meanwhile, not getting struck by lightning yourself. So yeah, not convoluted or painstaking at all, by the way.
Easy level, by the way. This is one of the famous levels in this game. Usually, it's a really run killer.
Yeah, it's infamously horrible and hated. But this bonus, you can sort of see it a little bit. Void is jumping back and forth in such a way that he's manipulating the lightning to not be in the center where the green bananas spawn. That's one of the best bonuses in the game because that is the 69th bonus coin. Very important. Good point in your run to check and see how you're doing.
Nice. And also this ending that Void just did is very precise. We do a damage boost to manipulate the lightning, so it stops for a little bit. It actually strikes down when you are in between two red bees. So if you do it a little bit wrong, the lightning will strike you instead. It's a very tricky ending.
Yeah, that's another good point that I neglected to mention. If you take damage, that resets the lightning timer. So typically, there's a little bit of RNG to the lightning, but it's not really significant. Typically, the runners have a set path, we'll call it, that they typically navigate through. Just do the same thing every time, and you'll get the same result every time, right? So as long as they have consistent movement, the lightning will spawn in consistent places, and they know how to avoid it.
If only that worked.
Same fast ending for Glan there. Very well done.
Yeah, Glan actually went for a neat strategy called Nocturne ending, where you glide under the green bee. It's very precise as well. It's pretty cool.
Named after our boy Nocturne.
Shout out to Nocturne. Now Void is on the Coin Dozer stage, Coin Dozer Clamber. These guys are pretty interesting. They usually want to knock you off the ledges. Their hitbox is not very well tested. You can actually clip through them or sometimes not hit them at all. And that usually is not very fortunate for you.
So they're modeled after the green coins that normally have the DK coins on you, but they don't they don't have any prizes for you. They don't have anything for you. There's nothing you can do to them. And on the platforms like where they have extra space next to them, they'll actually run at you as well and try to knock you off the edge. Not fun.
Not fun indeed, but
there are definitely some fun interactions you can have with them. In some certain pits, they're close enough together that you can bounce between them basically infinitely.
Yeah, you have the ping pong level.
Okay, so now Void is in Poisonous Pipeline. You might say, Poisonous Pipeline, what's the big deal? It's just a swimming level. Well, the controls right and left are reversed. So Void is actually holding left. I'm sorry, he's holding right now in order to go left. And that holds true while he is transformed into On Guard as well. So he's going to hold right to go left, and then go up here and hold left to go right.
Unfortunately, for some reason, they didn't do like DKC2. If you get hit by the DKC2 boss, purple clouds, up and down are actually reversed as well. Not in this game. This game has up and down the regular way.
I think it'd be too easy to just flip your controller upside down to beat the gimmick that way, you know?
Yeah, maybe. They wanted you to actually have some trouble.
Right.
It's not a very hard stage. Once you are used to the reverse controllers, it's a pretty trivial stage, I want to say.
Yeah, once you just get the concept of right is left and left is right, it's just a swimming stage, and it's not even really that difficult.
Except getting on the second bonus here.
Right there, just where Void was. That's kind of a tight section if you want to take it quickly, or you can just wait for the Coco to pass out of the way and then it's free. So
yeah, pretty much.
It's all about how fast you want to go.
Since we are speedrunners, we always want to go as fast as possible.
Speed running.
That bonus actually is pretty hard if you're not used to the reverse controllers.
Yeah, and also it's very, very punishing if you miss a star because it takes so darn long to turn around because of the acceleration time underwater.
Yep. Now we're on to the final boss of the 80% speedrun.
So, it's a refight of Chaos. Who would have known when he flew off after you defeated him in World 3, 4, whatever you want to call it, Mechanos. So he just got rid of his frying pan head, and then you bop him again, and then his Terminator head goes away, and now he's basically a missile barrage. And you hit that, it falls down.
Easy game. You won, right?
Not sure why the timers are still going. Yeah, what's going on here? Wait, who's this?
Oh my god!
The man behind the curtain!
Not really a man, but...
Well, yeah. As the saying goes, the expression, the man behind the curtain. So, you fight K. Rool again. Hooray, he's back from being eaten by sharks in DKC2, somehow lived through that, and being blown up, and being jumped on and beaten up by Donkey 10 different times. So he's back for more, and now you hit his jetpack with barrels, which somehow makes it malfunction. And then he decides he doesn't like that, so he shoots electricity between these Tesla coils, and then he gets shocked. But he's okay. Like, you can see his skeleton and stuff, but he's fine. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. He's okay.
Only scratch. I think Void's gonna go for Task Hero here.
Yeah.
It's a strat.
Pretty tricky window here in order to grab that lever in order to spawn this barrel and get away from K. Rool in time to save a cycle.
It's free, by the way.
Oh, totally free.
It's a 6-frame window, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it that big?
Yeah. 6 or 7-frame window.
Okay. So yeah, it is free.
It's scary.
So here, the jumps are kind of weird because you have to wait till you're like under K. Rool, but a little bit past him in order to jump up and actually hit his backpack with the barrel there. With Kitty, it's very, very strange because the way that he holds the barrel in front of him, you have to jump after you're past K. Rool and then turn back to face him in order to smack the barrel into his backpack. Very difficult, but still possible.
But wait, he didn't stop the timer.
Oh yeah, I guess there's more that we have to do after saving Diddy and saving Donkey for the second time. Not sure what they're saying because it's in French and I can't read French. Maybe we'll know more
Same.
after Glan finishes.
Yeah, the thing about this fight is that a key rule on DKC1 and DKC2, it's a very trivial. We usually call it a glorified auto-scroller because it's very hard. Once you know everything about the fight, it's very hard to fail it. But this fight in particular is a very hard one, especially with the Tasky road trick that Glan is going for right now.
Yeah, they really went all out on the boss fights in this one. Like, there's a lot of strategies. I mean, like, I guess Squirt is probably the one fight where you stand to lose the least time by not doing it optimally. Like, you can save cycles or hops, I guess, on Belcha. You can save cycles on Eric. And so this is Boomer, by the way. Looks like V0oid did not get the first Boomer skip. I don't know if he was going to go for it even. But you pay him with the bonus coins that you've been collecting throughout the whole game in order for his specials, he calls them, which blow up these piles of rocks in the way in order to unlock all the levels in the Lost World. So you can actually get to the Lost World after you've beaten Worlds 1 and 2, but you can really only get so far inside the Lost World until you've completed more of the game.
Yeah, if you pay attention on V0oid's screen now, I think he's gonna do since he just reset the game. Oh, he missed a banana, that can be bad.
Yeah,
But since he just reset the game, he knows pretty much what the seed of RNG he's in right now. So he can pretty much manipulate the green bananas. He will know their respawn, so he can do a really, really fast bonus. Especially the second one, you're intended to use the parrot, but that's very slow. So you can actually use the spider. It looks really hard. It actually is pretty hard. But since he knows every spawn, he can do it pretty optimally.
Yeah, this is one place where you like actually can learn and anticipate the RNG, just because, like Dume said, he reset, so we pretty much know the RNG seed here at this point. And so Glan doing the older, more typical route, opening up Krematoa after resetting the game, just makes boating a little bit easier earlier on, in my opinion. So I guess second last auto scroller actually.
Yeah,
Stampede
second last.
Sprint. Ellie gets scared by a whole bunch of rats. Sneak, I believe they're called in this game. So you take your Perry for a run, and this is the other level where it's very, very important to keep Perry alive, because he will again turn into a bonus. That damage is intentional for Kong Order.
Basically, what
Kong Order is actually maintained while you're transformed into Animal Buddies in this game, but I believe it's not in DKC2 if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's not. Basically, they probably attempted it. The Boomer skip. There is a double frame perfect B presses that you can do to leave Boomer early when you are unlocking the Krematoa levels. So actually, the same way your coins don't deplete completely when you are robbing the bear, you can actually open up all the levels without using the bonus coins completely, and then just re-enter and use the rest to unlock the last level.
Glan,
it's a trick we call OK Boomer, by the way.
Yeah, Glan employing my typical methodology of doing this bonus, the natural route, the intended way, with the parrot that they give you, which is significantly slower but also significantly safer and easier. So you may have noticed that V0oid got a cog as he pulled on the flag there at the end of Stampede Sprint. Those are new and different. You haven't been missing them the entire game. They're new and exclusive to Krematoa. As you finish one of the levels for the first time, you'll get one for each level, and that is another instance of Throw Your Cousin. That one's completely free because there's only 2 spawn points for the green bananas there, so you just throw Dixie on the one and stand on the other, and you just get all the bananas. There are a lot of zips in this level, less in 103%, I believe, but there are still a few that he'll use here in order to skip some big sections of the level. Same deal, you just team up and throw, get your team throw interrupted like that, and then it zips you up to the top of whatever surface you were underneath.
Yeah, if you do all the zips in this level, it's actually pretty neat, but
Yeah.
they are very hard to do.
It's really quick, like the any percent, or I guess the water percent run, or Beat
Or the
Krematoa
warp
as it's been renamed.
All stages as well.
Yeah, that. Oh yeah, that as well. This is another one of the reasons that we do this stage on U, because the B positions are a little bit different on J, and not in our favor. So U is much easier for this level. I believe there's actually a couple like team throws around Bs that you can't do on the J.
You can do 2-1 jumps, but that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's something that most runners don't typically do. That's a frame perfect trick.
Yeah, avoid getting a 20 on the second bonus. He goes for a really tight strategy. Glan is probably gonna get a 19, I think. He goes for a slightly slower but safer strategy.
Yep. So Glan is exactly one level behind V0oid right now. A nice zip there, by the way. I don't think V0oid went for that one. So now V0oid is in Tyrant Twin Tussle. I believe the only level that the Tyrant Twins are in, Cuff and Clouts, which is kind of strange because when you beat the game like any percent style, or then when you beat K-Roll 1, you get a character parade, as you typically do in all the Donkey games, but it has Cuff and Clout in it, and if you don't know about, Krematoa, or if you've not unlocked it or not beaten this level or played this level, you don't even know they exist until you see them in the character parade. So it's very strange.
Technically they are on 8-1 as well, but well, whatever. Still Krematoa.
Yeah, right. You don't see them unless you're in Krematoa.
Yeah.
And they always show up in pairs. They can either jump back and forth or they'll run back and forth. And if you kill one of them, the other one ends up getting enraged and will just charge you really quickly.
Thankfully, the Squidder is a very strong boy and can actually kill them pretty easily.
Yeah. Can't jump on them, but he can use his webs.
Mm-hmm. Now V0oid is gonna go for a very tight squeeze in between those guys and the B. It's called GDQ jump, because it was, I think, found at the GDQ, I'm not sure. And it actually, yeah, he gets it.
And
actually allows you to keep...
this will be another throw your cousin strat here. This one, you can totally win the lotto on this bonus, based upon where bananas spawn, or you can get really screwed over. Because there's one spawn where you sit as Kitty over, where they don't hit you. There's one place where Dixie sits, and then there's in the middle where they jump back and forth. So you can either get really lucky and save a cycle, or you can get unlucky and miss one.
Yeah, not having Dixie in this bonus is very unforgiving. You have to keep going back and forth.
Yeah, it's terrible. You'll even miss bananas sometimes if you get blocked off of them based upon the way the twins are jumping.
Yeah.
So Swoopy Salvo, transform into our boy Squawks.
This is considered one of the hardest levels in the game, especially because you're in the end of a 2-hour speedrun.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're pretty exhausted. It's kind of an intense run. There's a lot of other longer runs for sure, but they're not typically nearly as active as this run. There's not a whole lot of downtime. You're always doing something really, for the most part. Also, Glan winning the web lotto. Nice job, Glan.
The web lotto. That's nice. That's a new trick found very recently. If you climb that hole, I guess, on the left side, you can actually use the first barrel that spawns, but it sometimes just clips through your web, and you have no idea why.
Yeah, V0oid unfortunately didn't win web lotto. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird, dude. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Glan had a very specific shot right there where he shot one singular web, but it was far enough at the edge of the screen where it hits one of the twins before the other one spawns, so it effectively kills both of them.
Yeah, it's
Neat
pretty
trick.
helpful. Now Void's gonna go for some zips. There are a couple of zips in this stage that saves a lot, not a lot of time, but
They're still cool to look at nonetheless, either way.
Oh, for sure. They are my favorite zips in the game, but they are a little bit hard to execute. You need solid visual kills and stuff. Here's the first one. Void gets it, no problem.
And it's really tricky doing it on the swoopies because of their hitboxes. You have to like very assuredly be on top of them because just the way that their hitboxes are lined up. Nice double team throw there. Way to execute that bonus very, very cleanly.
Yeah, this is another stage of Congar guy moments. Glan had one earlier that he actually killed one of the swoopies and died on the same guy. They both died at the same time
Double
because
kill.
of hitboxes, yeah.
All right, nice zip to finish the level there. Very well done, Void. Glan just entering swoopy. Pretty hot on his heels, so the last entrance to Boomer. Or no, not last entrance, the second. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if you don't skip him the first time, you can't skip him now. Because you won't have 5 kegs. Now it's the last stage of the game. Effectively, but we don't really... I mean, technically, but effectively it's swoopy. Swoopy is hard. This stage is pretty free. There's not very much tech to go for.
Yeah. Last stage is an auto-scroller, and really the only optimizations you can do, there's a descent followed by an ascent. On the descent, all you want to do is basically not land with your butt on the red bees because that will engage the thruster and shoot you back up. You want to use the thrusters on the sides to get rid of them, which you can use either the right or left on the D-pad or the R or L buttons. And if you tap both of them at the same time, that's the only way to activate both of them using R and L. You can't hit both right and left at the same time with the D-pad. So I think most runners will use R and L buttons because there's some specific instances where you do need to use both. And that was B-list on the way down for Void. Very nice start. So then now he goes for the ascent, and basically you just want to not bonk. Aptly named bonkless if he gets it.
Yeah, the last corners are actually very tight to not bonk. You have to do some specific movement, but overall it's not a very hard stage.
It's really just that last corner is the only one that ever really gets you, and you just have to have enough. See, he barely gets it. It looks so close. I always bonked it as a kid. I never had the momentum to get over in time.
Until I actually started speedrunning, I thought it was impossible.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it was pretty much a perfect stage for Void. Now we have the lamest, I guess for speedruns at least, the lamest boss fight ever. Ooh, Glan taking a death from Soupy.
Sorry, Glan.
Yeah, this level is ruthless.
Swoopies can be tricky.
This boss fight Void's gonna go for now. I don't know why, but you don't want to be Dixie on this fight. For some reason, if you are Dixie, it's very, very hard to hit Kairo's backpack.
It's just the way that she holds the barrels compared to Kitty, and the way that she throws. There's a little bit more of a delay when you release Y to when she actually throws the barrels compared to when Kitty does. Nice knowledge of the invisible barrel there on Glan's side. There's invisible DK barrel there hidden. You can hear it. You can hear that there's a Kong inside nearby. You can hear the Kong's crying out or whatever. If you only have one Kong and there's a barrel nearby.
I'm not sure
why the barrel's there, but you can't see it. There's a few instances like that, so that's where knowledge of run comes in handy.
So here's Void. I think Void's gonna go for a couple of quick hits, depending on the cycle you get. It's somewhat tricky, because if you jump too early, you get hit by the lightning, and then you're probably gonna lose a lot of time.
There you go. That was good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. If you jump too late, you miss Kairo. I guess I don't lose anything going for them, because if you K roll, you have to.
Sometimes the keg doesn't respawn in time in order to get what would normally be the first cycle,
Yeah.
so you end up
That can
losing
happen.
a cycle. So it's really just plus or minus 1 cycle over normal if you go for it, usually. So this is where being Kitty really pays off, because when he's up top like that, hitting his backpack is very, very difficult. Something that I didn't know again until I was in my 20s. After college, you can see at the very top of the screen there's this needle going back and forth, and it will actually pull to one side or the other, and that will tell you where the lightning is going to come out of, and you use the keg to stop the lightning there on the bottom. There's a pretty sure it's a glitch that we can utilize in case that falls through.
Oh yeah.
If we'll see if Glan needs to do it. If not, I'll mention it anyway. So getting rid of Dixie there to only have 1 Kong just to speed up entrance and exits. So now he's going to do what we call cleanup, and he's going to go to all of the bears that he hasn't visited and get the banana birds from them, and all of the banana bird caves that he hasn't been to yet or could not go to yet, because there are some that you actually can't get to until you have gotten all of the DK coins, all 41 of them, and gone to see our dude Funky.
Would you actually believe me if I told you I didn't know about that needle until now?
I would believe that, because I didn't know about it until
before.
after I was. Oh, did Glan get it?
Oh, Glan got the Boomer's cave.
Oh my god, you can see Boomer's sprite is a little bit glitched.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
I don't remember him getting the skip.
Huh.
Interesting.
Good for you, Glan.
Yeah, good for you. It's a trick we call OK Boomer, because why not?
But yeah, so unbelievable type of a situation for V0oid over here. He's found all 41 DK coins, and Funky's latest creation, the gyrocopter. And so now we can fly around to Belch's Burrow, that one up there, which is one of the ones that couldn't get to. And at this point, I believe the Banana Bird caves are like 7 inputs, and later 8 and 9. So this is the point where runners will typically write them down rather than trying to remember them.
Yeah, the number of inputs depends on how many birds you have. So they're actually leaving 1 bird for, because there's a couple of bears that give you birds. They're actually leaving 1 for very late, so we don't have to do 1 extra input. Now he's gonna just literally do a cleanup. He's gonna clear all the bird caves to be able to finish the game.
So there's some conspiracy theorists out there that like to say that DKC3 is actually an RPG because there's currency and there's
NPC, side quests, and everything.
And you end up getting an airship. So weigh in the comments below on what you think.
V0oid actually missing an input there.
Oh, did he really? I missed it. I was watching Glan.
Yeah, he didn't miss an input. But not that great of a time loss. It is very tilting though, losing time on, especially because it's not very platform heavy. You just have to ride around properly.
Yeah, it's not like execution of some trick that's difficult or something.
Yeah, it's very trivial, I guess, but 2 hours in, it's not easy.
Yeah, Glan going for the more typical route where you jump into K. Rool and take damage instead of teaming up and throwing into him. Dealer's choice, honestly, if you want to end up with Kitty or Dixie.
Oh, DKC3 is totally a Final Fantasy. There's even Demon Wall.
Has V0oid? No, he hasn't gone there yet. Okay, so we'll still get to hear it, right? Because he still has the bowling ball, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he hasn't been to blue yet. Okay, good. Just one funny thing that I like to note, because all of the... Oh, he missed the... Oh, no.
Oh,
he
yeah.
missed the flower.
Yeah,
Didn't
no,
get
he
the
has
flower
been to
grab.
blue.
Sad day.
I think
So that
he-
flower doesn't grow until... I don't know, some certain point in the game. Maybe it's after you beat K. Rool. I don't know. But yeah, that flower doesn't actually grow there until some certain point in the game, and then you just bring it next door to Bramble. And Bramble gives you a banana bird.
I think you have to have 13 birds, if I'm not mistaken, and you need to have the barnacle. I don't remember now. The bird that
Oh, it's a
Glen's
number of
getting now.
birds. Okay.
Yeah, you need to have gotten this bird Glen just got, so the flower will spawn.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Now Void's going for the final bird cave in the game. Here's where, if you don't get 9 inputs in this bird cave, you can like start to get this sad or enter despair, because here you should have 9 bird caves if you got 9 inputs if you got everything in the game.
Yeah, and it takes quite a while to wait for the Simon Says again and to do it again. So you lose a pretty significant amount of time if you mess up. Alright, and so this is what I was talking about at the very, very beginning of the run, how we have to talk to Wrinkly and save with her first. Because if this is the first time visiting Wrinkly when you have all the banana birds, you will just sit on the world map outside of her cave and not go anywhere. So that's why you have to visit her first. And so effectively the game is over for him, but time is actually on fade out of this last screen here after he releases the Banana Bird Queen. And Glan not far behind.
No, not far behind at all. You can still skip one input here. And time provides. Very nice run. Basically, the reason the time ends after we talk to the bird is because you can press right or B, I guess, to exit the talking with the bird.
Yeah, there's still a game to be played in a sense. Like it's not necessarily over yet until you fade out.
Yeah, pretty much. Now we get to see this beautiful ending.
High quality video. Look at that. $1996 at their finest. That's what one might call egg on face.
Haha, I got him.
Lamau.
Is Glen on the last bird cave? I'm watching.
No, he's not in there
Has a
yet.
couple more, yeah.
Yeah. He's still got a couple more.
Hopefully Glen will get the flower on the first try.
Yeah, the flower grab. So you can see Funky in the motorboat taking Cranky out for a spin. And then things get a little out of hand. 155, 1131. Not bad.
And you'll never see Funky again, man.
That's not true.
Oh yeah, there's Tropical Freeze, right? Yeah, never mind. Does Funky appear on 64? I actually don't know.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
he's like the armaments guy. Gives you weapons. Glan
neat.
unfortunately missed the flower as well. However,
At
he
least he
did
didn't
not enter Bramble before, so he actually probably did it more quickly. I don't know, he kind of flew around for a little bit there, but it's probably still faster than entering Bramble because it takes so long for that gyrocopter to land.
Yeah, controlling the gyrocopter is very tricky.
Definitely. Because, again, momentum in this game, it's so tricky. You get so much momentum, you can't really, like, turn on a dime.
Yeah, pretty much. I dare to say that the hardest part in this run is actually unlocking Crematoa.
Oh my god, there are, well, at this point they're Twitch highlights because it was before clips existed. there are Twitch highlights of me and my awful driving trying to unlock Kremato. It's pretty terrible.
You can't do a perfect circle. If you do a perfect circle, it will not work for sure. Have to be a wonky circle.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like almost better to do like a square or a diamond.
Oh, Glen missing an input there.
Game's hard. Simon says it's impossible.
This is a very anticlimactic ending to the speedrun, unfortunately.
Yeah, we think that's part of why this run has never been showcased in a GDQ before, because the end of it, I mean, as we call it, cleanup, I mean, this is the fastest way to do it. So, of course, we have to do it this way, right? But it just ends up being very, very slow. And it used to be worse before the reroute, because cleanup was more like 9 minutes instead of like, I don't know, 5.5 or 6 or whatever it is now. Because of that chairlift sequence, like you did like all of the caves and all of the bears at the end, back to back to back, instead of doing like some in the middle of the run.
Yeah, now we actually do part of the cleanup after K3.
So way back when, in I don't know, 2017 or whenever I ran this game, the goal of basically any 103 runner was a sub 2 run, the elusive insane run. Some said sub 2 would require an insane run, and thus it was lore. So now you've seen 2 insane runs simultaneously on stream, live on SpeedGaming.
You can even say
that is what I call entertainment.
Insane race.
Nice runs.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I'm assuming, I don't really know, hoping we're gonna get the guys in here for post-race interview. Not really sure. But Glan giving us the most important information that anyone could ask for: when him hop, me hap.
Yeah, we all love a
Which you all
Winky
need
here.
to know.
Unfortunately, Winky is not in this game.
He's too powerful, man. That's why he's only in DKC1. He's too good. Whoa, Glan rolling in.
Hello and welcome.
Whoa.
How goes, gamer?
Oh, it goes.
That was an insane run.
Without
It was
a
an
doubt,
insane race.
an insane run.
Yeah, getting 2 insane runs in a race is actually very interesting.
It's quite the era that we live in now. You guys were super close for a very long time. It wasn't until like Krematoa where basically in Swoopy is really where he got away from you from that death in Swoopy.
Really?
Yeah, I mean you were ahead of him after what was it?
We were on par with him on 6-1, but he had unlocked Krematoa already.
Oh yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
was. He didn't do Krematoa and you were actually ahead of him. Because he unlocked Krematoa and you didn't. That's how close you two were.
That's interesting. I wasn't expecting to be that close.
I think he died on the alley part on 4-4? Yeah, 4-4, yes.
Yeah.
And then
I died
caught
on
up.
That's
Window
right. He got
too.
like wombo comboed.
Right now, so I
Yeah.
think he had
Surprising
some
that it was,
trouble.
Still that close entering Krematoa when I died in Coin Dozer.
I mean, yeah, I don't really know what it was. I mean, it was like so even between the two of you in most places. Like, I don't want to say like either you're under like flawless or whatever, but it just seemed like things kept going in such a fashion. Like, I mean, you missed Ellie skip, which is like a bunch,
Well, my
especially
whole
for
world
one
one was
trip.
garbage.
But then like you were still like decently close to him. Like it didn't really matter that
Well,
much.
he did 2 visit, right? Which loses like 15.
No, he
No, I
got
think he did one.
and
He
skip
did?
right
Oh,
away.
he did do
Yeah.
1 visit? Okay.
He got the skip too.
So you should have been really far ahead of me.
You would think something. Yeah, I don't know. You were
'Cause
just
I had
you were
like
like
a
right on his heels the whole
10:29
time.
one,
You were
which
playing with
was
some kind of fierceness, my dude.
Yeah, you had a really good catching up over and over. I think V0oid had some trouble with green banana bonus.
I had a few
there was
really good
one
ones.
bonus.
Which there was some. There was at least one bonus that V0oid failed. I can't remember.
I think it was the green banana on 4-3. The one with the Nibla.
Oh right, yeah, he dropped into the water. That
Ooh.
was an interesting one for
That's
sure.
rough.
And then he opted out of the recoil rule, but you got it. Nice job.
Mm-hmm.
What else happened? Oh, you got web lotto. That was wild.
Yeah, I'll
Hello?
Hello and
I'll go
welcome.
to my grave
Hello and
saying it's
welcome,
not
Void. Nice
What?
run.
Nice run.
Nice run.
What happened on your end, Glenn?
Oh, I had a lot of general slop, but like I didn't die or fail any bonuses or anything until World 7. I
Yeah.
died in Coin Dozer.
You guys
And
were really close all the way up until Swoopy.
I died in Swoopy near the end.
Dude, I had a
that
good
was
swoopy, which I was pretty happy about.
Yeah, that was really like the last nail.
I had a really good TTT, but
Yeah, you guys on
Swoopy was
6-1
not
were
good.
on par pretty much.
Yeah, I
you
saw
were-
that. Like I had the stream open on my other monitor, and I saw that Glenn skipped blue the bear, and we were like tied going into 6-1. That was pretty cool.
It was
Imagine
I will sync up.
skipping Blueberry 26.
Yeah, dude, come on.
It's his birthday.
I don't think we have too much time, so sum up your thoughts, Glenn. How do you feel about the run?
I mean, it was an insane run.
It wasn't.
We had 2 insane runs, dude.
Yeah,
Right?
Hell yeah.
simultaneous insane runs. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
That's an insane race
Outside
right
of
there.
like World 1, I would say like every split was like decent but not great for me.
All in
I was
all,
making
pretty
steady
good in
progress.
a no reset environment.
Yeah,
say.
and then cleanup was just, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention or something.
Dude, same. I failed the banana bird cave because like I hit the
I
wrong
failed
button
2
on
of
my
them.
controller.
Yeah, I did that in the last one.
Were you guys writing down
And
the
then-
bonuses? The caves?
Yeah.
Where do
Nah,
you start
that's
writing
cheap.
it down?
What?
Where,
When they go to
which
7.
one? 7, yeah.
So after
that's,
the copter.
that's what I
So,
figured.
like, the first one there that I failed, like, the first and last notes were both X. So, like, I thought it was done, and then the last note being X, I thought that was me inputting it, so then I inputted the second note and I failed it.
Oh no! Counting too hard.
That's very unfortunate.
All right, Void. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts were, like I've been mentioning it in my chat, but basically, the Scuffed Chaos fight and the Scuffed World 4 were like the two things that really set me off about this run.
My
if they were-
chaos was also scuffed.
Dude,
Yeah, no one cycle.
I got like 3 hits off, and then afterwards I was like not paying too much attention, and then I lost Kitty, so it was a clean 4 cycle, optimal, dude.
I thought you were going for a deboost, like the any percent deboost, where you jump into the flame to hit him again.
Yeah. No, I was just like standing in the wrong spot, and I lost my Kitty Kong, which
Heck.
sucked. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
never
other
wanted
than
to
that,
Kitty Kong.
like I played like somewhat close to my PB for the other segments, and like aside from failing the Banana Bird Cave at the end, like basically failing that Banana Bird Cave cost me a 154, but like those 2 other mistakes cost me like I want to say mid to low 153. So I can't really be that upset about the way I played this run, but it was still an insane run. So
Yeah, you still had some really good segments for sure.
yeah, Kramatoa, I saved like 13, so I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I think if you ever get a solid run there, that one's going to be in the bag just because you have so much left to save there.
Yeah, for sure. It just needs to happen. Bring a run up to Kramatoa and then not,
Just don't choke, forehead.
just don't choke forehead. just
Not
just
the Choke
PB.
City. Yeah, just PB.
Just PB,
forehead.
just play like the TAS.
Yeah, just be the TAS.
Yeah.
5 head. Omega 5 head.
16 head.
Yeah, 69 head. But yeah, I think that's
Nice.
just about all we have time for. Thank you very much, guys, for coming in for the post-game interview. Thank you for co-commentary, Dume. Thank you very much, Speed Gaming, for hosting. Thank you very much, V0oid, for setting this all up.
Yeah,
Thank you guys for
having me.
rolling deep.
Hell yeah.
Hope you had fun on commentary.
And if you,
Oh, for sure.
yes, you, viewer, I'm looking at you in that Speed Gaming Twitch chat. If you want to learn to speedrun Donkey Kong Country 3 Dixie Kong's Double Trouble for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, released in 1993, published by Nintendo,
1993.
produced by Rareware, you can look at Donkey Kong Country Speedruns Wiki. As soon as I get the link, I'm going to drop it.
Beat you to it.
No, well, okay.
SGUF.com.
Yeah, do that one. DKCSpeedruns.com, where you can learn how to run all 3 of our speed games. And
Yeah.
some
You can
other
learn how
stuff,
to
but-
roll deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Join the Discord. We like to have fun there.
We like to
And-
click monkeys and post frogs.
Yeah, like bob that follow button, follow Glan, follow Lumo, follow Dumace, roll
Follow
deep my
V0oid.
sons. Enjoy the rest of the marathon, and yeah, thanks for watching.
Rolling out.
Rolling out.
Thank you guys. Rolling out.